Hello everyone, welcome back. My name is Bindi and I haven't done a long form video on YouTube in a long time. So I've been doing my lives on TikTok and they've been doing really well, so I thought I should start posting some videos on here too. So I'm going to paint an abstract, which that is what I've been doing a lot on TikTok. And I thought, I'll do one for beginners on here. I'm probably going to start posting them maybe weekly, bi-weekly. We'll see how it goes. But let's start with this one. So I'm using my sketchbook paper, and when I say my sketchbook paper, this is the sketchbook that I launched 3 years ago. This is the smaller size sketchbook. This is 5x7 and this is 8.5 by 11. These are available on my website. They're 100% cotton paper, cold press, with textured. It's nice texture it has. So anyways, I already have my palette. So this is the palette I used for my TikTok live. So I'm just going to use the same palette and then start from there. So today's video is about like why your abstracts feel flat. So many people say like my abstract doesn't look like yours, my abstract doesn't look like yours. So the only thing that is missing from your abstract is basically the contrast. So I'm going to show you how I do that and how I'm going to start with my painting in just one tone. So it's going to be maybe light and medium, not one, but maybe light and medium, and then I will show you how to add that darkest contrast, and that changes the whole thing. So let's get started. So I am going to start, maybe I start usually either with a letter, just wet on wet, wet on dry. So I'm going to start with wet on dry. Wet on wet, and then we'll go from there. All right, so I have my palette and let's get started. So I'm going to start with my lightest to darkest, but because I want to show you how probably yours, you have the same value throughout your painting. So let's just go with that. I hope I make sense. It's different doing this on a live and doing this on YouTube or recording for YouTube. So we'll see. I might use the one composition that I absolutely love, which is a diagonal composition, and I'm just going to go with that. And it may not end up looking like a diagonal, and that is the whole point. The whole fear of blank page. Okay, so once you start with your one brush stroke, and then it will take you from there. You just keep painting from there. All right, so I started with my lightest color, which is like this coral color. I added peach. I mixed peach with my alizarin crimson. And again, this is my video after a long time, so let me just go over. I forgot to tell you what I'm using. So the paper I already told you about. The paper is my sketchbook paper. This is, I'm using Himi watercolor palette. It has 24 colors. It's been great. Looking at it, you probably think it's like a kid's palette, but it's actually been great. And I've been using this palette a lot lately, and these colors are from this palette. Let me show you a painting that I did on my live this morning. So this is the same palette and same color palette, and it's using the Himi palette. So the colors are great. This is another one that I did same using Himi palette. So it's pretty affordable. So if you're just starting, you might want to look into that. I know I bought it from Blix, and I got it for $8.99. I don't know if it's the same price on Amazon, or you know, I don't know now how much it costs. This was like 2-3 months ago. So I'm going to just continue with my abstract. So all I'm doing is I started with the diagonal concept, diagonal composition concept. What the heck? All right, I'm going to get it a little bit closer. There is sunlight coming, so probably you will see shadow. Can't help it. This is the time I have because my husband's not home, so the TV's not on. So you get it. You get the point. All right, I'm going to go with my third color here. So again, just adding that, and I'm just rolling my brush. If you want to learn all these different techniques, I do teach them in my class. I teach on Zoom, so I do that. On Zoom. So all I'm doing is adding all the different colors, and then there is this orange, so I'm going to again use the orange. So this is all wet on dry. Did I say wet on wet in the beginning? I'm not sure, but again, the whole point is go with the flow. That is all. My art is all about going with the flow. I love painting abstracts because you have nothing, no expectations, no end result. You don't even have a reference picture, so you don't know where you're going to end up or what your painting's going to look like in the end. So that's why I go with the flow. Best kind of painting. Okay, at least that's what I think. So maybe you don't think so. So just adding all colors. Right, so here. So those are my 3 colors. I'm going to add the brown. The brown I'm using here, I mixed Van Dyke brown with some Perylene maroon, and that is how I got that brown. I'm just going to use the brown and the maroon from my Himi palette, and I'm just going to go with that. So once I dry this, you will see that your painting is, because it's going to dry 20%, like watercolor dries 20% lighter. So you'll see that it's going to be really like it will have like a faded look, and it's all going to look like one. It's going to lose the depth. That's basically what I'm trying to say. Okay. Now I also like to add some botanicals, so I'm going to do that. And I'm pretty loose with my brush strokes. I'm pretty loose with my paintings. I'm not precious about anything at all. I might just use the back of my brush. And like I said, other than the topic of this video, and yes, the palette, nothing has been planned. Okay, where I put my brush, where I add my paints, none of those things are planned. So you're going to be as surprised as I am at the end of this painting. So I'm looking through my camera and I think it's looking good. So let's add the blue. That is my last color. So I'm going to again mix this blue, light blue, with this teal and add the paint in certain areas. And as you can see, I am not worried about making mud because that is something I am never worried about. Mud is a beautiful color, and I think you shouldn't avoid making mud. Okay, don't try. So I'm never going to teach you how not to get muddy colors. I'm actually going to teach you how to make it into mud, and then how to use that mud and make your painting beautiful. I actually have a video on probably on here also, but on Instagram and TikTok. So check that out. I have the same username. All right, so that's that. I'm going to dry this and then we'll see. So I am not going to stop. Now it's dry, and you can see, I mean, there is variations, like you can see, but it's basically like one tone, one value. That's what I'm trying to say, one value. So let's think about this. So think of your painting like this always. You need light areas, you need medium areas, and you need dark areas. So if you skip one of these, your painting loses depth. Basically, that's what it is. So right now, my painting is all the same value, maybe like light and medium, maybe 2 values, but it doesn't have that dark area. So your eyes don't have a place to land, okay? It's going everywhere. So we need that. So now I'm going to adjust one thing, and that is, so I'm going to, I don't want to say fix, because I don't like that word fix. It's not a mistake, so you're not fixing anything. You're now going to respond. Basically, you're now going to respond to your painting, okay? So let's not use fixing. Let's say we're going to respond now to this painting, just so that it gets a little more depth in certain areas. Again, I'm not going to add dark, this indigo, which is what I'm going to use everywhere, because that is what I use for all of my paintings. In the end, I bring all my paintings together using indigo. They all have botanicals, they all have indigo, they all have gold. So let's do that. Here is my indigo, and I have different indigos here. I have all different brands. I don't think I have Daniel Smith in here, but no, actually I do have Daniel Smith also in here. Holbein, Daniel Smith, Winsor Newton, and Artist Loft, and whatnot. So I mix all of them, that way I get all of those things. And actually I don't want to use this tri-wedge brush. I'm still going to use, I'm still going to use this Quill brush, which I don't think I told you what brush I use. I use this Quill brush, and I'm going to get that indigo and maybe add my indigo somewhere where I want my eyes to land. And maybe here. This is where I want to. And there was a red underneath, but that's okay. And my paint's not dry, that's why the whole chunk came out. So always remember, if you are using a tube, have your paints out the night before so they dry. Okay. Now the other thing I don't like is I don't like hard edges. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just clean my brush and soften the edges. And this botanical that you see, it's created using the back of my brush, in case you missed that. Now again, I'm not trying to create a masterpiece here. This is more about the technique as to how to fix it. Again, I said how to fix, but you know what, you get my point, right? trying to respond, not trying to fix it, but for some people it is going to be fixing. So can use that word. And I'm going to add a bit of some mark making. I do that in odd numbers, and most of the artists do that. They like odd numbers. So we have 1, 2, 3, and then another one here. Again, clean the brush and soften it. And see, it's kind of like looking muddy here, and I love it. I honestly do. Not even going to fix it. I do want to add some indigo here though. There you go. And then, so now I know there's multiple places, but you do have focal elements, right? You have that visual clarity. You have that focal element right here where your eyes can land now. And if you don't always have to paint, you can always add the third time, or whatever time, the odd number of times, using splatters. So that is what I'm going to this is what I like, this is what I am going to this is what I'm going to keep. Okay, I might go back and then add a bit more orange if I want to, because my paintings are very bright and colorful. I like them bright and colorful. So it may not be for you, it is for me. And always remember that you paint for yourself, not for others. Okay, so if you like it, and if other people have opinions about your paintings, please nicely ask them to keep the opinions to themselves. Okay, I could go over this botanical with this red or orange or something. Let's just go with it. I mix the red and the orange. Like I said, nothing was planned. It's happening in the moment. Okay, there you go. I'm using Christy Rice's dagger brush here. So now you can tell that the brushes are not important in my paintings. The colors really, it's just go with the flow. Like whatever colors you want to pick, just pick. It's all good. But your abstract won't look great if you don't have that contrast. That is for sure. That is for sure. All right. You already know that I love indigo and gold in my paintings. So that is what I'm going to add here, and some here, and some here. So wherever there is contrast, I added a bit of gold. A bit. I say a bit and then I add a lot. But I mean, I love gold, so what can I say? You can also just add a few just strokes here and there. And I'm going to dry this again, so bear with me. To add some mixed media to this. Now remember that just like you added contrast, you can also bring back light. So either by adding, I'm going to add some white dotty dots, or you can lift some of the color, like, you know, up, but I'm not going to lift. I don't like to do that. I usually add my light with some white acrylic markers. So I'm using Gravi's acrylic marker, and I am also going to add some kind of mixed media. So it's either going to be oil pastel or soft pastel, or my Neocolor crayons, or I actually even have these pencils. I've been actually loving these pencils, and these are not water soluble, so let's use this. Let's use this color. It doesn't have the name, but so what I do is I like to just scribble. Okay, and I like to mess it up on purpose. I know. I just gave somebody an anxiety, like a panic attack, by doing that, but that's what I like to do. And then I'm going to go with the Gravi acrylic marker, and I like to add some dots. Now you can either add dots to the whole thing, or you can just add dots to part of the contrast and then leave it at that. Okay, do you, don't do because it's people expect you to do that. Do you. You can't live your life based on other people's opinions. So with abstract, I'm also teaching you to just let go, loosen up, stop trying to be a perfectionist. And when I do my classes, I always say, if you're a perfectionist, my classes are not for you. I'm sorry to say that. So work-wise, because I'm a special ed teacher, I have to be perfectionist. Not really. I try to be. I am super organized and super anal about certain things, but when it comes here, I just let it go. So this is my place to let it go. Right? So you should always have one area of your life where you can just let go and just enjoy. Let this be that area. Let this be the place where you let go. Okay? That was my, I don't know, that was my, I don't know what to call it. Wisdom. Parting my wisdom to people. All right, I think that's good. I might come with a completely contrasting color, which is usually what I like to do, is come with a blue, and like I said, that's it. Let's take the tape off and check this out. Check this out. And such, like, I used very minimal supplies. For example, like you will say, oh, I don't have those crayons. Do you have kids? Do your kids have crayons? Use those. I don't have a white marker. Do you have a Sharpie? I don't know, a black pen. You will need something lighter, so for that you might want to go out and get a pen. So what? It's just like, less than $2 probably. So get that, but try and use what you have. You don't have to go out and buy any supplies, at least for my paintings. If you don't have this quill brush, you have a round brush. Use your round brush. You don't have like the botanical that I made, I use the back of my brush. Sometimes I use this glass pen. Does that mean you need this glass pen? Absolutely not. Do you have this? Yes. Use that. Use what you have. Use what you have. You don't have indigo? Don't worry. Pick the darkest color from your color palette and use that. So that's that. So like today I had my palette ready, but sometimes I start with one color and then I go from there. So maybe I'll do one of the videos like that where I don't have my palette ready, but I pick one color and then I'm like, maybe I like this. This should go with this. I think this one, that's how I painted this one, with just whatever was on my palette. I had all these colors on my palette and I started with one, and I think I started with my Queen Gold, which you can't even see right now, but that's what I did. So just pick one and then just go with that. So next time your abstracts feel off, don't start over. Just ask yourself, where is my darkest dark? Where is my lightest light? And then respond to that. And your painting will come to life, just like this one. I hope you enjoyed this class. And if you did, or video, I should say, please subscribe to my channel, because I will be coming again in either next week or in 2 weeks. I'm gonna make it a point to post videos every week or every few weeks, and it is going to be real time, so no editing. That way, you know, I spend less time on the computer and I can just post and just go with it. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.